YouTube, what's going on? It's everybody's favorite point guard Geethers back with another video, and today I am not going to waste y'all's time. I'm going to get right into the video, and I'm going to go over the 3 things that you must do before putting money on one of your builds, okay? And if y'all like the video, please drop a like down below and subscribe, but y'all have no idea how much it helps out on the road to 1,000 subscribers currently. And all right, let's get right into it. So 3 things you have to do before putting anything on your build, any money on your build, even 1 decimal point of VC before you put on your build, okay, is number 1, you need to test your animations, okay? Why do I say that? I say that because this year it looks a lot of the same. You know, there's going to be different animations, but it looks like a lot of the same as far as the build maker goes, but there's different animation requirements, you know, attribute / height restrictions, a lot different stuff, right? So what y'all need to do is, obviously in this 2K you can kind of do it, right? As y'all can see in the background, I'm going to take you out there to it in a minute, but you need to utilize their test features, right? So this year you can kind of do it, you know, see this says 2-way slash and playmaker. I can go test build, and I can put on different dribble moves and stuff, right, based on what my player can get. So I'll max them out 99 overall, see what my player can get, right? It might be tedious, and as soon as you get 2K26, you're going to want to get in your build, start grinding those badges so you can get to where you can play. But if you really want to save your money and make it to where, you know, your first build is still going to be viable after a month, you need to do this, right? Almost maybe even spend that whole first day almost doing this type of stuff, because, you know, and you need to take your time, go through, especially if you're a point guard and you're going to be dribbling a lot, right? Go through, see, okay, do I, for example, signature size up, that's what I'm on right now. Do I want the Giannis size up, right? I need to be at least 6'10" for that, right? Or if I'm going to be on a 6'6", right? All right, I can get, I can't get this Jalen Brunson one. If maybe you really like the Jalen Brunson and you want that, make sure you check all of these before you put VC on it, because it can be very, very easy to make a 6'6" guard, and then I don't have the right attribute requirement, or I don't have the right ball handle requirement, or the right height restriction, right? So that is number 1 thing. Number 2 and 3 are a little bit more important to me. Now this is important, but this really only applies if you're a guard, right? It applies for all positions, because jump shots can play into effect too. And that's another thing you should do, you know, go into the jump shot creator, see what you can and can't get at that height and that attribute rating, right? But the next 2 things are just as important, if not more important, in my opinion, because it's gonna really make or break what your build can do, but also you have to be realistic with it. So number 2 is gonna be cap breakers. So as soon as you load up 2K, and this is what I'm gonna do, as soon as I load up 2K26, I'm gonna make some dummy build, just put a bunch of random stats on it, and I'm gonna go into the park, or into my career, you could say, and I'm gonna figure out exactly how many cap breakers are going to be available to us, but also how it's going to be, if it's going to be realistic for me to get them or not, right? So for instance, we already know through the build specializations, whether that be the shooting one, the playmaking one, we already know it's going to be at least 1 cap breaker in in those quests, right? I know there's going to be at least 1, and that'll apply to the specific attribute that you, or to the specific skill. So if you do shooting, that can only be put on your 3-pointer, mid-range, or free throw, right? So for instance, if I know, which I'm sure I will, those specializations quests, I looked at them, I'll be able to get those quick, right? I'm sure I'll be able to get them at the longest in a couple weeks, but you can do it in my career, so you can really get those in a couple days if you wanted to, right? But I know I'm going to get those, so that cap breaker, I'm going to take into account what I'm making my build. Also, they say you're gonna be able to get cap breakers from other ways we haven't found out yet, but also probably through rep and season rewards. So I'm gonna look at the season rewards and my first build, right? I'm gonna think, okay, let me be realistic here. I'll check the first season, because I know the first season I'm most likely gonna hit level 40, right? Probably the first 2 seasons minimum. You know, that after the first 2 seasons dies down a little bit, but first season, 100% I'm gonna hit level 40, probably within the first week. Okay. So if there's a cap breaker for that, I'm taking that into account when I make my build too. Also, they said there's other ways, so I'm gonna go into my career and see, okay, what other ways is it? Is it rep? You know, is it gonna be how it was this year, like starter 3, veteran 2? Because starter 3, I'll probably hit, you know, it might take me a little bit longer, but I'll probably hit that relatively fast. Not, you know, I won't hit that crazy fast or anything, but it'll be something to where I can work towards and I can make in mind now, because I know I'm gonna hit that within the first at least couple months, right? Now, like the veteran 2, I might not take that one into account yet because that's quite a ways away. I didn't even hit veteran 2 in 2K25. Now, if 2K26 is better 2K, I probably play it more, right? But you know, those I might not take into account as much. But basically what I'm saying is go into my career, see all the ways to get the cap breakers, and figure out and be realistic with yourselves about what cap breakers am I going to get. Because with this one, right, this build y'all see on the screen, you know, it's just I've been blabbing up different like two-way slash and playmaker type builds that I'm thinking about making for day one. Obviously, this isn't the 2K26 builder, but still just ideas that I have, right? And so this one, for this build, for instance, in mind, I have perimeter defense with +5 on to get to 99 perimeter defense, right? Obviously, I have 5 cap breakers in mind there, and I also have 5 cap breakers in mind for driving dunk to get it to the 93 to get the gold posterizer. So that's already, I have 10 cap breakers in mind off rip on this build. Plus, I would like to have more on pass sack and ball handle. So this is keeping in mind almost like 13 cap breakers, right? Who knows if I'll be able to get that much, but that's something that I'm going to keep in mind because obviously, right, say I'm not going to get any cap breakers, but for me, I definitely want that 93 driving dunk, okay? 100% I want that, okay? But I'm not going to get any cap breakers. So if I know that I'm not going to get any cap breakers, then I'm going to change this build around because if I want that 93 driving dunk and that gold posterizer, obviously I got to change something if the cap breakers aren't going to get me there, right? So that would mean I have to, you know, maybe take down some perimeter defense, put more on dunking, maybe even take down a little bit of pass, and maybe even some more perimeter defense, right? So I'm just for the sake of for right now, I'm going to drop that down, right? Now that changed the build, you know, it doesn't change the build a whole lot. I still have a little bit of defense. I still have this, that, but it changes, it does fundamentally change the build, right? So you got to keep that in mind and be realistic with yourselves about how many cap breakers you're going to get, okay? So moving on, the third thing, and it kind of goes into the cap breaker thing that I was telling you about, is the max +1s and max +2s. Now, with the max +1s and the max +2s, these are just as important as the cap breakers because you get so many of them this year. As of right now, we can know confirmed you get at least 3 max +2s and 3 max +1s. And we know one of those max +1s and one of those max +2s, once you unlock them, they are permanent, okay? And that is from the build specialization. So, just for instance, now I know I would have to have like a higher mid-range and in a 60 mid-range 63-pointer to do the shooting on this build. But say for instance, or scratch that, we'll do the finishing. Say for instance, I have that 93 driving dunk, okay, with the cap breakers, and I do the build specialization for finishing. So now I have a 93 driving dunk, I have posterizer on gold, and say I want to use the 1 max +2 I get from the build specialization to get to that 90, or I'm sorry, to that legend posterizer. If I'm keeping that in, I need to keep that in mind when I'm making these builds because, you know, maybe I can make my build to where, okay, I make it to where I have legend posterizer, but maybe that's not as good this year. Maybe posterizer on gold is plenty. Well, now I can change that max +2 around. One of the max +2s I have, you know, if I don't do the special, if I keep the specialization one on driving dunk, but I have other max +2s, right? Okay, well now I also can put one on lightning launch, but say lightning launch isn't as good. Okay, now I can put it on dimer and get dimer to legend, or, you know, and so on and so forth, right? You can tweak these things to your liking to get what you need to get for the badge wise, right? And so you need to keep all these in mind because what if I make my build if I make my build, you know, I think I have everything right, but then I didn't take a max +2 or a max +1 into account, and now I end up wasting that max +1 or max +2 on something that I don't even use. Like, for instance, if I end up having to waste it on like paint patroller, for instance, just for, I'm not saying that's a bad badge, but if I have to waste one of them on paint patroller for this build, and that's not something I even needed or used that often, that's just a waste, right? So Those three things you have to keep in mind before you make your builds, guys, because that is going to make or break how, not only how good your build can be, but how much you're going to be able to make the build to your liking and how long you're going to be able to use that build and the longevity of it. Because if I make my first build and I think it's good, I think it's good to go, I rush it, I put VC on it. Once I put VC on it, you cannot go back, guys. So you put VC on it, you put $100 on it, and then, oh gosh, I can't get this moving crossover that I wanted, or oh, I can't get this badge up to legend like I thought I was going to be able to, or up to Hall of Fame like I thought I was going to be able to. We need to keep all those things in mind. The animations, your badge +1s and +2s, and the cat breakers. And please, guys, be realistic with how many cat breakers you're going to get. Don't be somebody who only plays the game for a month or two, and then don't make your first build with 15 to 20 cat breakers in mind if you know you're not going to be able to get that many. And maybe we are going to be able to get that many quick and easy. We don't really know yet until we get our hands on the build and we enter into my career and see how many. But I'm telling y'all, the first thing y'all need to do, enter my career, see how many cat breakers you're going to realistically be able to get this year and how many you want to put on this build. Make your build with those cat breakers in mind. Make your build with those +1s and +2s in mind. See how many +1s and +2s we'll be able to get. See how many of them are going to be permanent and how many of them are going to be just from season rewards. See how long it's going to take for you to get to those season rewards, so how long you'll have them throughout the season. All these things matter, and they matter a lot, right? Animations as well. See which jump shots you're going to be able to get. The jump shots that you will be able to get for that specific build, test them, see if you like them. Test the dribble moves, the dunk packages, the layup packages. All these things matter a lot, guys. And if you do all those things and you find your dribble animations that you're going to like, if you're going to be somebody who's dribbling, if you find your dunk and your jump shot animations you're going to like, if you figure out exactly how many cat breakers you're going to take into account for your build, and you figure out what +1s and +2s you're going to be able to take into account and where you'll be able to put them. If you do all those things before you make your build and really take your time and make sure you didn't mess anything up, your very first build is going to be able, if you do all those things and take your time, you're probably going to be able to use your build later on into the year, right? Now, if you rush it, and another thing you guys can do is, truth be told, I never think you should copy anybody's build. You make your build to your play style, right? Like for me, I know a lot of people aren't going to like a build like this build I have on the screen, for instance. I don't know if it's going to be very viable or not, but it's probably going to be something like this that I make in 2K26 because of the shooting being easier, no RNG and pure green window, and I think I'll be able to shoot with a 3-ball like this, right? So something like this isn't going to be for everybody, but another thing you can do is, while you're doing all that testing and everything, all the YouTubers are going to be making their builds off day one. So, and they're going to be having those videos posted and ready for you to watch. So you can look at some of their videos, see what they think, you know what I mean, and see what they're making to compare to your build. So kind of 4 things, but those first 3 things that I said are the main 3 things you guys should do, guys, before you put money in your build. I'm just trying to save y'all some money and make it to where y'all don't have to make 15 builds. On the 7th or 8th build, you finally found the point guard build you like, right? So I want to thank y'all for watching, man. Please make sure y'all like and subscribe for more 2K26 content, and I'm out. Peace.